how I explained it, I'm a cancer researcher, so I've done a lot of research in cancer labs, and I can tell you, you can go on the internet, click on some chemo drug or whatever, have it FedEx to you by a mail order, have it arrive the next day, put a little a spoonful of the chemo drug into an experiment, and within a few days or maybe even a few hours, you would know using this test system whether or not the drug is effective against cancer, whether there's activity. Okay, now you can pick up the phone and you can call on a pizza or a salad and have it delivered in 15 minutes. And you ask the same cancer researcher, how do I study what the onions do? What does the anchovies do? What does the lettuce do? And they would scratch their heads and say, I have no idea. So that's what I did 10 years ago, is to tackle that challenge of making two worlds collide. The world of biotechnology, where we have, like, you can't believe how sophisticated some of these testing systems are. And that's what's amazing, because you can throw in the drugs too, and you can throw in the foods, and then you can compare them side by side. So my area is in the field of angiogenesis, how the body grows blood vessels. For years, cancer researchers were trying to find ways to cut off the blood supply that feed cancers. So the cancer doesn't get a blood supply, it's just this microscopic thing and it can't grow. In fact, tumors cannot grow larger than the head of a ballpoint pen, the tip of a ballpoint pen, until it gets a blood supply. No oxygen, no nutrients, no growth. All right? But when cancer's actually able to get this blood supply, they start taking off. They can grow 16,000 times in 2 weeks. So angiogenesis is a trigger to propel cancer growth. So finding drugs that can inhibit angiogenesis or stop blood vessels from growing to tumors was at one point kind of a holy grail. It was, like, how do we get that? Lots of drugs. I've been involved with the whole thing. And now there are actually lots of real FDA-approved drugs. But we were able to study foods in that same system. Foods, some of the foods, soybeans, grapes, strawberries, lemons. And it was crazy to actually see, because I have the street cred of being able to study it against the biotech drugs, that pound for pound, ounce for ounce, molecule for molecule, in many cases, the food held their own against the drug. Some cases more powerfully. Obviously, some foods are not as powerful. But that actually opens the gateway for a whole new future. And I think that's something that's really exciting to watch.
No joke. Do we know what's going on at the molecular level? Is it a metabolite that our microbiome produces when breaking down grapes that's stopping the angiogenesis, or is it something else?
Yeah, so Mother Nature, in creating foods, have laced these foods with natural chemicals, right? These are called bioactives. And they're called bioactives because they're biologically active. And in a plant, let's look at a strawberry, for example, okay? The tartness of strawberries, strawberries are sweet and tart. The tartness comes from an acid, unsurprisingly, called ellagic acid, okay? And so when a strawberry is a little tartar because it's got more ellagic acid. So ellagic acid is a powerful starver of cancer. So it cuts off the blood supply.
Does that actually end up in our bloodstream? Like, could I eat strawberries and then you could draw my blood and be like, you had 7 strawberries?
Absolutely.
That is insane.
Okay, now, but here's the even more insane part. What are these bioactives doing in a plant? They are part of the plant's health defense system. So these natural chemicals help the plant defend themselves. When we eat them, they have another job description. They do double duty, and they actually help to activate our own body's health defenses. Now, here's one thing that I think is a practical value. For a long time, people are sort of talking about like you should eat more organic and don't eat pesticides and stuff like that. Here's a whole new take on this, okay? And this is kind of smoking hot information. Pesticides actually kill insects so that the plants look better. The leaves aren't as chewed up, and usually the fruits or vegetables look a little bit better too, right? That's just agriculture. It makes it look better and the product look better on the shelf.
Yeah, and add diseases.
Organic doesn't use that. And so a lot of times you have the more natural, the bugs are nipping at the leaves and chewing at the stems. Guess what? Mother Nature created things like ellagic acid as natural insecticides. And so basically when the plant, the strawberry plant is being chewed on, it makes more lactic acid to repel the bugs. It's a wound healing response and a defensive response. So organic foods have more bioactives as a reaction. I just was involved with a study I was meeting about yesterday talking about coffee. Organic versus conventionally grown coffee. Conventional grown coffee with pesticides. Organic coffee, hands down, this is a study at the University of Warsaw University, hands down, pound for pound of coffee bean, organic coffee has more bioactives than the pesticide treated coffee because the insects, the natural things in the environment, cause it to create more natural health defenses.
Dude, this gets incredible. I can't believe I'm this deep in my journey of health and all that, and I never realized that the actual chemical compounds from food, I always thought it was the metabolites from the digestive process that was making its way into the bloodstream, which I know also happens.
Also happens.
Yeah, that's really intriguing. So